Katt Williams is straight up clowning Shannon Sharpe after ESPN showed him the door, and he's not holding back a single punchline. Katt's been on ever since news broke that ESPN cut ties with Shannon right after he settled that $50 million lawsuit with OnlyFans model Gabriella Zuniga. The wildest part, Katt swears he warned Shannon this exact thing could happen. Katt literally told Shannon months ago on Club Shay Shay about getting caught up with the wrong woman and how it could blow up everything you've worked for. He even joked, you could be Kang the Conqueror and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends.
But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends.
At the time, it felt like a wild Kattism, but fast forward and here we are. Shannon out of a job, millions down, and trending for all the wrong reasons. Now, ESPN didn't just wake up one morning and decide they were done with him. This came right after Shannon settled that $50 million lawsuit with Gabby, and according to insiders close to Katt, he'd been peeping this whole setup from a mile away. Apparently, Katt knew Shannon was messing around with Gabriella long before the lawsuit hit, and that's why he kept dropping those little warning shots during interviews. What makes it even colder is Katt wasn't the only one who tried to put Shannon on game. Monique was right there on the same episode telling him to get somebody to love you instead of chasing these young IG baddies. But Shannon didn't listen, and now Katt's acting like the prophecy came true. But the thing is, Shannon didn't just take an L in the headlines. He took one in the bank account too. He paid Gabriella a fat settlement, thinking it would make the problem go away and maybe even save his ESPN gig. Instead, ESPN cut him off anyway, and Gabriella quit OnlyFans less than 24 hours after securing the bag, announcing her retirement on Instagram like she just hit the jackpot. People are calling it the ultimate finesse. She went from 19-year-old model to generational wealth off one man's bad decision, and fans are dragging Shannon for being a hypocrite. Remember, this is the same man who once said he wouldn't spend more than $30,000 on his daughter's wedding, yet here he is, dropping way more than that on a woman who saw him as a lick. To make things worse, Shannon was super close to signing a $100 million media deal for all his shows. Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, Club 520, everything. Right before the lawsuit dropped. That deal is now completely dead, and because ESPN is under the Disney umbrella, that door is slammed shut too. ABC, Hulu, all the big networks, gone. It's the kind of career stain that's nearly impossible to bounce back from. Katt's point here is that this wasn't bad luck, it was bad choices. He warned Shannon. The Jonathan Majors situation was right there as a cautionary tale, but instead of playing it safe, Shannon rolled the dice and lost big. And for Katt, who's built a career out of mixing comedy with truth bombs, this is just another example of him being right in the most brutal way possible. Now, the crazy part is that Shannon claims he's at peace with ESPN's decision, but on his Nightcap podcast, he admitted he begged them to hold off on announcing his firing until after his brother Sterling's Hall of Fame induction. ESPN didn't budge, and Shannon says it overshadowed one of the proudest moments in his family's history. Still, ESPN clearly felt the headlines were too hot to keep him around another day.
So Brooke Hogan is finally opening up about what her dad Hulk did after she started dating a black man. And turns out the story is even worse than what was originally reported in the media.
But TMZ is reporting that in 2023, Brooke is the one who asked to be taken out of her dad's will.
With Hulk Hogan just having passed away recently, his daughter Brooke is sharing her side of the story about the infamous incident from 2015 when Hulk was caught on tape using the N-word after he found out Brooke was dating a black man.
Like her son, would have been hanging out, I helped hold hands together on Twitter, get close to kind of more on okay? I'm not a double standard kind of guy, I'm a racist to a point. Yeah. You know, then when it comes to nice people, I don't give a I don't care underneath football, I don't really know a basketball player to have a game. If we're going to see the original.
However, according to Brooke, this wasn't just a one-time slip-up. She's making it clear this was a pattern with Hulk. From way back when she was a kid, he showed he didn't really care about her feelings. And it started when Hulk hooked up with her best friend. In 2007, Hulk had an affair with Brooke's friend Christiane Plant. And he even admitted everything in his memoir, Hulk Hogan, My Life Outside the Ring. However, he didn't apologize or acknowledge how this affair affected his daughter. Instead, he dismissed it like it wasn't a big deal and said he and Christiane were intimate no more than 5 times. And even after Ty betrayal and that disturbing racist rant, Brooke still tried to be the bigger person and forgive her father. However, Hulk and Brooke's mom, Linda, blamed everything on Brooke and claimed she cut them off for no reason. And Linda even publicly accused Brooke of keeping Hulk's grandchildren away from them.
It's been 15 or longer years since I got left Hulk. Hulk Hogan. And my family is in the worst mess. Brooke doesn't talk to us. She's had twins. She got married. She didn't tell us. She had twins. She didn't tell us. She had a huge fight with Terry. I don't know how that reflected onto me, but she cut me out too. I haven't talked to her for 7 years, almost 8 years now.
However, Brooke's husband, Stephen Oleksy, denied this and claimed that despite Brooke's many attempts to connect, Hulk showed zero interest in meeting his grandkids. Oleksy told people he stayed in touch with Hulk and the family, hoping they'd want to patch things up. He even reached out about a month and a half after Brooke gave birth to twins in January. However, Hulk didn't care at all about his daughter or his grandchildren. Oleksy said, "I sent text messages once again to kind of gauge where he was at, but there was no interest." According to Oleksy, Brooke's brother Nick even said he'd bring Hulk over to meet the twins, but they never showed up. What makes this even sadder is how much Brooke showed grace to her dad, despite everything he put her through. Brooke and Stephen originally lived in Michigan, but they moved to Florida to be closer to Hulk as he got older. Oleksy told people she was there for every surgery leading up to the last 2 years. She would fly down on her own dime, take care of her dad, and even took notes from every doctor that treated Hulk. But even after everything, Brooke kept it classy. She never went on a rant trashing her parents or tried to cash in on the drama. Instead, she quietly stepped away, refusing to take a dime from Hulk. Insiders told TMZ that back in 2023, Brooke asked to be cut from Hulk's will, saying she didn't trust anyone around him and didn't want to get dragged into a messy money fight after he was gone. So fans are now showing support for Brooke, saying she's the only Hogan family member who's shown real class and principles through all this toxic family drama. One user on X said, "Praying for Brooke Hogan, Hulk Hogan's daughter, who has been very private but vocal about being estranged from her abusive parents. It is such an experience to be abused by parents and family and have people invalidate your feelings for the sake of how they feel about the people who harmed you." And another person wrote, "Some people inherit money, others inherit backbone. One makes you rich, the other makes you free. She chose the one that lasts longer."